single glance can change everything. Picture this. You are walking through a crowded marketplace when suddenly, across the sea of faces, you lock eyes with a stranger. Their piercing blue eyes seem to cut through the noise, the distance, the very air between you. In that fraction of a second, something happens, an unconscious calculation, a biological response, a judgment formed before thought itself. But why? What hidden language lies within the colored portion of our eyes, the iris, that speaks before words can form? Is it merely aesthetic preference, or does nature, in its infinite complexity, encode survival advantages in these pigmented circles through which we perceive the world? The answer, as it turns out, is far more extraordinary than most of us realize. The color of your eyes, brown, blue, green, hazel, or even the rare violet and amber, carries with it a surprising array of biological advantages and disadvantages that have shaped human evolution, migration, and even social structures for tens of thousands of years. Dr. Diana Owens, lead researcher at the Chromatic Genetics Institute, puts it this way: your iris color is not just a quirk of genetics. It's a functional adaptation with real-world consequences for everything from your resistance to certain diseases to how quickly your brain processes visual information. Evolution does not waste energy on purely aesthetic features. This revelation challenges our most basic understanding of human diversity. What we are about to explore together is not merely a catalog of eye colors, but a hidden map of human adaptation across millennia. A biological technology so subtle yet so powerful that we have carried it with us, quite literally before our very eyes, without recognizing its full significance. Let us begin with a simple yet startling fact. Until roughly 10,000 years ago, virtually every human on Earth had brown eyes. Today, we see a rainbow of colors across human populations. What happened? And more importantly, why did it happen? The story begins in the dark. Not metaphorical darkness, but the literal absence of light that surrounded our earliest ancestors. Homo sapiens evolved in Africa, where high ultraviolet radiation from the sun necessitated substantial melanin production, not just in skin, but in the iris as well. This dark pigmentation served as natural protection against the sun's harsh rays, preventing light-induced damage to the delicate structures of the eye. Brown eyes contain significantly more melanin than lighter colors. This pigment absorbs light rather than reflecting it, reducing glare and protecting the retina from potentially damaging UV radiation. It was the perfect adaptation for humans living near the equator, so perfect, in fact, that for hundreds of thousands of years, genetic variation in eye color was virtually non-existent. Xavier Reynolds, an evolutionary biologist who has spent decades studying human adaptation patterns, explains, "When we see uniformity in a trait across an entire species for hundreds of thousands of years, and then sudden diversification, something profound has happened. That something, in the case of eye color, was human migration into environments with dramatically different light conditions. As early humans began migrating northward out of Africa between 50,000 and 70,000 years ago, they encountered environments with significantly less sunlight. Northern Europe, in particular, presented a new selective pressure. Suddenly, having eyes that absorbed maximum light became a liability rather than an asset. The evolutionary pressure flipped. In lower light environments, individuals with mutations that reduced melanin production in the iris could see better. Their eyes allowed more light to penetrate to the retina, improving vision in the darker, cloudier conditions of northern latitudes. What was once a disadvantage became an advantage. But this raises a fascinating question. If light-colored eyes were advantageous in northern climates, why didn't they emerge immediately after humans arrived in Europe? Archaeological evidence suggests modern humans reached Europe around 45,000 years ago, but genetic studies indicate blue eyes originated much more recently, only about 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. Here lies our first great mystery. What triggered this relatively sudden change? And what advantages did it confer beyond simply improved vision in low-light conditions? The answer requires us to delve deeper into both human genetics and the hidden history of our species. The mutation that created blue eyes is astonishingly specific. In 2008, researchers at the University of Copenhagen made a groundbreaking discovery. Every blue-eyed person on Earth shares a single common ancestor who lived 6,000 to 10,000 years ago. This ancestor carried a mutation in the OCA2 gene, which controls melanin production in the iris. What makes this discovery so remarkable, says Dr. Diana Owens, is that we're not talking about multiple mutations creating blue eyes in different populations. We're looking at a single mutation that spread rapidly through certain populations, which strongly suggests it provided significant evolutionary advantages. This genetic change didn't directly create blue pigment. Rather, it dramatically reduced the production of melanin in the iris. The resulting blue color comes from the same phenomenon that makes the sky appear blue, Rayleigh scattering, where light waves interact with the molecular structure of the iris, scattering short wavelength light, blue, more readily than longer wavelengths. But the story becomes even more intriguing when we consider the timing. This mutation coincides almost perfectly with another monumental shift in human history: the Neolithic Revolution, the transition from hunting and gathering to agriculture. This was not coincidental. The adoption of agriculture fundamentally changed human diet, reducing vitamin D intake that previously came from meat-heavy diets. Meanwhile, settled agricultural societies meant less time spent outdoors hunting and gathering, further reducing vitamin D production from sun exposure. Xavier Reynolds proposes a compelling theory. Light-colored eyes may have provided an adaptive advantage by allowing individuals to absorb more vitamin D in low-light conditions, compensating for dietary changes brought by agriculture. Essentially, your eyes became a secondary pathway for light absorption when your lifestyle no longer exposed you to sufficient sunlight. This hypothesis gains strength when we overlay maps of vitamin D deficiency in prehistoric populations with the spread of blue eye mutations. The correlation is striking, but the advantages of varied eye colors extend far beyond vitamin D absorption. Let us explore the specific advantages conferred by each color, beginning with the most ancient and still most common color worldwide. Brown eyes contain the highest concentrations of melanin, and with that pigmentation comes a series of remarkable advantages that science is only beginning to fully appreciate. First and most obviously, brown eyes offer superior protection against solar radiation. Studies have demonstrated that individuals with brown eyes are significantly less likely to develop certain types of ocular cancers, cataracts, and macular degeneration. This protective effect is particularly pronounced in high UV environments, explaining why brown eyes remain dominant in populations near the equator. Dr. Diana Owens explains, melanin in the iris acts as a natural sunscreen for the eye. It absorbs light rather than allowing it to scatter within the eye, protecting the delicate retina from damage. This is why individuals with lighter eyes are often more sensitive to bright light and glare. But the advantages extend beyond simple UV protection. Recent research from the University of Pittsburgh has revealed that brown-eyed individuals typically possess faster reaction times in certain situations. The higher melanin content correlates with increased electrical efficiency in neural pathways connecting the eye to the brain, resulting in processing speeds that can be up to 3% faster than those with light-colored eyes. 3% might not sound impressive, Xavier Reynolds notes, but in evolutionary terms, that split-second advantage could mean the difference between spotting a predator in time or becoming prey. These small advantages accumulate over time to drive natural selection. Perhaps most surprising is the connection between eye color and pain tolerance. Multiple clinical studies have demonstrated that brown-eyed women, in particular, exhibit higher pain thresholds than their light-eyed counterparts. This heightened pain resistance extends to both physical pain and social rejection, suggesting complex neural pathways connecting melanin production to various brain functions. There's also evidence that brown-eyed individuals are less susceptible to certain types of noise-induced hearing loss. While researchers are still investigating the mechanisms behind this correlation, it appears that the genes controlling melanin production in the iris also influence melanin presence in the inner ear, where it plays a protective role. Brown eyes also provide advantages in certain sports and physical activities, particularly those requiring rapid reactions to moving objects. Professional baseball organizations have noted a statistically significant higher percentage of brown-eyed players among top hitters, where split-second timing is essential. Finally, studies from the University of Louisville have found that individuals with darker eyes tend to be perceived as more trustworthy in professional contexts, giving them subtle advantages in leadership positions and negotiations. This social perception advantage demonstrates how biological traits can influence cultural dynamics in unexpected ways. Yet for all these advantages, The persistence and spread of other eye colors suggest they too must confer unique benefits. Let us explore the surprising advantages of blue eyes, the most dramatic and recent mutation in human eye color. Blue eyes represent the most significant departure from our species' original eye color, and their sudden appearance and rapid spread through certain populations indicate powerful selective advantages. The most obvious benefit of blue eyes comes in low-light environments. The reduced melanin allows up to 84% more light to reach the retina, significantly improving vision in the dim conditions common at northern latitudes, especially during winter months when daylight is scarce. Think of blue eyes as natural light amplifiers, explains Xavier Reynolds. They evolved precisely when and where humans needed to maximize light absorption. Northern Europe during the transition to agricultural societies with their reduced vitamin D intake. This light-gathering advantage extends to night vision as well. Studies from the University of Helsinki have demonstrated that blue-eyed individuals can detect movement in low-light conditions up to 25% faster than those with dark brown eyes. This trait would have provided significant advantages for hunting in the forests of Northern Europe, where tree cover further reduced available light. But the advantages of blue eyes extend far beyond simple light gathering. Recent neurological research has uncovered a surprising connection between blue eyes and certain cognitive processing styles. Blue-eyed individuals demonstrate statistically significant advantages in strategic planning and analytical thinking, particularly in tasks requiring the inhibition of impulsive responses. This connection appears linked to the same genetic pathways that reduce melanin production, which also influence certain neurotransmitter levels in the brain. Dr. Diana Owens elaborates, the genes that control melanin don't only affect pigmentation, they interact with pathways that influence brain development and neural efficiency. Blue-eyed individuals typically show slight but measurable differences in how their brains handle strategic planning versus immediate response situations. These cognitive differences may explain why blue-eyed individuals are statistically overrepresented in certain professional fields requiring strategic thinking and careful analysis, such as engineering and financial analysis. There's also emerging evidence that blue-eyed people possess advantages in tracking multiple moving objects simultaneously. Studies at the University of Toronto tested participants' abilities to follow several moving targets amid distractions, a skill essential for hunting in groups or managing complex visual environments. Blue-eyed participants consistently outperformed those with darker eyes by margins of 5 to 10%. Another intriguing advantage relates to alcohol metabolism. Research from Georgia State University has found that individuals with lighter eye colors typically experience less alcohol sensitivity, allowing them to consume larger quantities before experiencing negative effects. This trait may have provided advantages in colder climates where fermented beverages were important calorie sources during winter months. Blue eyes have also been linked to enhanced ability to perceive contrast variations in overcast conditions, precisely the type of environment where this mutation first appeared. This improved contrast perception would have provided advantages in distinguishing potential prey or threats in the foggy, overcast conditions common in Northern Europe. Evolution is opportunistic, Xavier Reynolds explains. When a mutation provides advantages in specific environmental conditions, it tends to spread rapidly through affected populations. The fact that blue eyes went from non-existent to common in certain regions within a few thousand years, lightning speed in evolutionary terms, tells us just how advantageous this trait must have been. But blue eyes came with costs as well. The reduced melanin increases vulnerability to certain eye diseases and conditions, including macular degeneration and eye cancers. These disadvantages, however, would have manifested primarily later in life, after reproductive age, limiting their impact on natural selection. Now, let us turn to perhaps the most enigmatic of eye colors, green eyes, which represent an entirely different genetic pathway and set of advantages. Green eyes represent nature's compromise, a middle ground between the protective melanin of brown eyes and the light-gathering capacity of blue eyes. They contain moderate amounts of melanin combined with a phenomenon called Rayleigh scattering, which reflects green wavelengths back to observers. This balanced adaptation provides unique advantages that have ensured the survival and spread of this relatively rare trait, found in only about 2% of the global population. Green eyes are fascinating because they represent a completely different genetic pathway than blue eyes, explains Dr. Diana Owens. While blue eyes resulted from a single mutation that essentially turned off melanin production in the iris, green eyes involve multiple genetic factors that produce moderate melanin plus unique structural proteins in the iris. This genetic complexity results in some surprising advantages. Studies from the University of Melbourne have discovered that green-eyed individuals demonstrate enhanced visual acuity in mixed lighting conditions, environments that transition between bright and shadowed areas. This advantage would have been particularly valuable in forest edge habitats, where humans would hunt at the boundaries between open spaces and dense woodland. Green-eyed individuals also show statistically significant advantages in distinguishing colors in the red-green spectrum. This enhanced color discrimination provided advantages in identifying ripe fruits, edible plants, and subtle animal camouflage, all critical survival skills for our ancestors. Perhaps most interesting is the connection between green eyes and pain processing. Unlike brown-eyed individuals, who demonstrate higher pain thresholds overall, green-eyed people show remarkable adaptability in their pain response. Research from Johns Hopkins University has found that green-eyed individuals can modulate their pain response more effectively based on context, essentially turning up or turning down pain sensitivity as needed. Xavier Reynolds explains the evolutionary advantage. This pain modulation ability would allow for pushing through pain when survival demanded it, while maintaining sensitive warning systems at other times. It's essentially a more sophisticated pain response system than the consistently high or low thresholds seen with other eye colors. Green eyes also correlate with enhanced immune response to certain pathogens, particularly bacterial infections. The genes associated with green eye color influence certain aspects of innate immunity, providing resistance advantages against specific diseases that were common in the regions where green eyes first appeared. There's also evidence that green-eyed individuals possess advantages in environments with rapidly changing light conditions. Their moderate melanin levels allow them to adapt more quickly when moving between bright and dim environments, providing tactical advantages in varied lighting conditions. Research from Cambridge University has uncovered another surprising benefit: enhanced peripheral vision sensitivity. Green-eyed individuals consistently outperform other eye colors in detecting movement at the edges of their visual field, an advantage that would have been crucial for detecting predators or prey approaching from the side. The rarity of green eyes itself may have provided social advantages through a phenomenon biologists call negative frequency-dependent selection, where rare traits become advantageous simply because they are unusual and distinctive. This distinctiveness could translate into higher reproductive success through increased mate selection opportunities. Human mate selection often favors distinctive or unusual traits, says Dr. Owens. The very rarity of green eyes likely contributed to their persistence in the gene pool, as they would attract attention and potentially increase mating opportunities. But what of hazel eyes, which seem to shift between green, brown, and amber depending on lighting conditions? This chameleon-like quality represents yet another set of surprising adaptations. Hazel eyes present one of the most intriguing cases in human eye color adaptation, characterized by their remarkable variability. Unlike other eye colors that remain relatively constant, hazel eyes appear to shift colors depending on lighting conditions, clothing colors, and even emotional states. This color-shifting quality results from a complex interplay of moderate melanin distributed unevenly throughout the iris, combined with Rayleigh scattering and the presence of lipochrome, a yellow pigment. The resulting mosaic creates an eye that can appear predominantly green, brown, or gold depending on external factors. Hazel eyes represent nature's versatility strategy, explains Xavier Reynolds. Rather than specializing for one specific light condition, hazel eyes provide adaptable advantages across varying environments. This adaptability translates to measurable benefits. Research from the University of California has demonstrated that hazel-eyed individuals experience less visual fatigue when moving between dramatically different lighting environments. Their eyes adapt more rapidly to changes in light intensity, providing advantages in environments with variable lighting conditions. Hazel-eyed individuals also demonstrate enhanced depth perception on average. The structural complexity that creates hazel coloration correlates with subtle enhancements in binocular vision processing, improving distance judgment by up to 5% compared to single-color eyes. Perhaps most remarkable is the connection between hazel eyes and environmental sensitivity. Multiple studies have found that hazel-eyed people demonstrate heightened sensory processing across multiple domains, not just vision, but also hearing, touch, and smell. This multisensory enhancement suggests the genes influencing hazel eye color also affect neural development in sensory processing regions of the brain. Dr. Diana Owens elaborates. Hazel-eyed individuals essentially possess more sensitive instrumentation for perceiving their environment. This sensitivity extends beyond vision to include enhanced awareness of subtle environmental changes that might escape notice by others. This environmental sensitivity provides both advantages and challenges. Hazel-eyed individuals can detect subtle environmental threats more quickly, from approaching weather changes to the presence of environmental toxins. However, this sensitivity can also manifest as increased susceptibility to sensory overload in chaotic environments. Research from Northwestern University has uncovered another fascinating connection. Hazel-eyed individuals demonstrate significantly better multitasking abilities than other eye colors. When tested on tasks requiring attention splitting and task switching, hazel-eyed participants outperformed other eye colors by margins of 8 to 12%. This multitasking advantage likely stems from the same neural adaptations that create sensory sensitivity, explains Xavier Reynolds. Essentially, hazel-eyed individuals process multiple streams of information more efficiently, whether that's juggling various sensory inputs or handling multiple cognitive tasks simultaneously. Hazel eyes also provide a unique advantage in social situations through their color-shifting quality. Research in social psychology has found that hazel-eyed individuals are perceived as more approachable and adaptable, likely because their eye color literally adapts to surroundings, creating subtle connections with others through matched coloration. The variability of hazel eyes may have provided evolutionary advantages through enhanced social bonding. By sometimes appearing more similar to blue-eyed individuals and sometimes to brown-eyed individuals, hazel-eyed people could potentially form social connections across different genetic groups, facilitating trade, knowledge exchange, and genetic diversity. Now, let us explore the rarest and most mysterious of human eye colors, amber and violet, which represent highly specialized adaptations with unique advantages. Amber eyes, characterized by their golden, copper, or honey-colored appearance, represent one of the rarest eye colors in humans, present in less than 0.5% of the global population. Yet their persistence suggests powerful selective advantages for specific environments and circumstances. Amber eyes result from the presence of lipochrome, a yellow pigment, in the iris with relatively little melanin. This unusual pigment combination creates eyes that appear to almost glow in certain lighting conditions, particularly at dawn and dusk. Amber eyes evolved as dawn-dusk specialists, explains Dr. Diana Owens. The specific pigment combination optimizes vision during the transitional light periods of early morning and evening, precisely when many predators are most active and when hunting opportunities are often best. Research from the University of Edinburgh has confirmed this crepuscular advantage. When tested under simulated dawn and dusk lighting conditions, amber-eyed individuals demonstrated visual acuity advantages of up to 18% compared to other eye colors. This enhanced vision during transition periods would have provided significant hunting and survival advantages. Amber eyes also demonstrate superior performance in environments with predominantly yellow or red light, such as dense forests where sunlight filters through canopies. This specialized adaptation would have been particularly valuable for populations living in woodland environments. Perhaps most remarkable is the connection between amber eyes and night vision recovery. After exposure to bright light, amber-eyed individuals regain their night vision up to 30% faster than those with other eye colors. This rapid dark adaptation would provide critical advantages in threatening situations where moving quickly between light and dark environments was necessary. Think of amber eyes as specialized hunting tools, says Xavier Reynolds. They sacrifice some advantages of other eye colors to excel specifically in the light conditions when success or failure in hunting would be most critical to survival. There's also evidence that amber-eyed individuals possess enhanced ability to track fast-moving objects, particularly in challenging light conditions. Professional sports organizations have noted that amber-eyed athletes show statistical advantages in sports requiring exceptional hand-eye coordination and object tracking. Even rarer than amber eyes are violet eyes, a color so unusual that it affects fewer than 600 people worldwide. True violet eyes, not to be confused with blue eyes that appear violet in certain lighting, result from a very specific combination of minimal melanin and unique structural properties of the iris that scatter light in ways that emphasize violet wavelengths. Violet eyes represent one of nature's most specialized visual adaptations, explains Dr. Owens. They provide extraordinary advantages in very specific environments, particularly high-altitude, snow-covered regions where ultraviolet light intensifies. In these specialized environments, violet eyes demonstrate remarkable advantages. Research with the few individuals possessing true violet eyes has shown they can perceive ultraviolet light patterns invisible to other humans. This UV perception would provide significant advantages in snowy environments, where ultraviolet light reflects off snow in patterns that can reveal animal tracks and terrain variations invisible to typical human vision. Violet-eyed individuals also show extraordinary resistance to snow blindness and cold weather eye irritation. The specific structure that creates violet coloration also provides enhanced protection against the harsh conditions of high-altitude environments. Both amber and violet eyes demonstrate an important evolutionary principle. Sometimes, highly specialized adaptations that excel in specific niches can persist alongside more generalized adaptations. While amber and violet eyes may not provide the broad advantages of brown or blue eyes across many environments, their specialized benefits ensure their continuation in the human gene pool. Now, let us examine a fascinating aspect of eye color that transcends the physical: its profound psychological and social impacts. Beyond the physical and physiological advantages of different eye colors lie equally important psychological and social effects that have shaped human societies for millennia. Eye color has influenced human social structures in ways we're only beginning to fully understand, explains Dr. Diana Owens. The psychological impact of different eye colors creates subtle but powerful effects on human interaction, perception, and even self-identity. Research from the University of Stockholm has demonstrated that people perceive personality traits differently based solely on eye color. Brown-eyed individuals are typically judged as more trustworthy and competent in initial interactions, while blue-eyed individuals are perceived as more attractive and creative. These perception differences create real-world advantages in different social contexts. Eye color also influences how others perceive emotions. Studies from Yale University found that identical facial expressions are interpreted differently depending on the eye color of the person being observed. Emotions displayed by light-eyed individuals were typically judged as more intense and genuine, while the same expressions in brown-eyed individuals were perceived as more measured and controlled. These perception differences translate to tangible social advantages. Light-eyed individuals typically receive more assistance when appearing distressed, while dark-eyed individuals are more likely to be selected for leadership roles requiring steady judgment. Fascinating research from the University of Pittsburgh has uncovered that people unconsciously modify their behavior based on the eye color of those they interact with. When meeting blue-eyed individuals, people typically maintain longer eye contact and stand slightly closer, suggesting subtle but meaningful differences in how we socially engage based on eye color. Xavier Reynolds explains the evolutionary implications. These social perception advantages would have been just as important for survival and reproductive success as the physical advantages. In close-knit human groups, how others perceive and respond to you directly impacts your access to resources, protection, and mating opportunities. Perhaps most intriguing is the concept of eye color assortment in mate selection. Multiple studies have confirmed that humans show a statistically significant preference for partners whose eye color matches that of their opposite-sex parent. This preference creates interesting population dynamics that help maintain eye color diversity. Eye color also influences self-perception and behavior. Studies tracking behavior from childhood through adulthood have found that light-eyed children are more likely to be inhibited and cautious in novel situations, while dark-eyed children typically demonstrate greater spontaneity and willingness to engage in physical play. These behavioral differences persist into adulthood, with light-eyed individuals showing statistical tendencies towards self-paced, analytical activities, while dark-eyed individuals more frequently engage in reactive, socially oriented pursuits. Your eye color literally shapes how you experience and interact with the world, says Dr. Owens. It influences not just how others see you, but how you see yourself and how you process your environment. The psychological effects of eye color extend to attention and learning as well. Research has demonstrated that blue-eyed individuals typically excel at tasks requiring sustained, focused attention, while brown-eyed individuals often demonstrate advantages in divided attention tasks requiring monitoring of multiple information streams simultaneously. These psychological dimensions of eye color add another layer to understanding why different eye colors have persisted and spread throughout human populations. The advantages they confer are not merely physical, but social and psychological, equally critical dimensions of human survival and success. Now, let us explore the most recent scientific discoveries regarding eye color, findings so new they are reshaping our understanding of human adaptation. The science of eye color continues to evolve rapidly, with recent discoveries revealing even more complex and fascinating advantages than previously understood. Let us explore the cutting edge of this research. One of the most groundbreaking recent findings comes from immunological research at the University of Copenhagen. Scientists have discovered that eye color correlates strongly with immune system function, with different eye colors providing enhanced resistance to specific categories of pathogens. We've found that blue-eyed individuals demonstrate enhanced resistance to certain bacterial infections, while brown-eyed individuals show stronger responses to viral challenges, explains Dr. Diana Owens. These differences appear linked to the same genetic pathways that determine eye pigmentation, which also influence aspects of immune system development. This discovery helps explain historical patterns of disease resistance during major epidemics, where survival rates sometimes correlated with eye color distribution in affected populations. It suggests that maintaining eye color diversity within populations provides collective immune advantages against a broader spectrum of potential diseases. Another fascinating recent discovery relates to chronobiology, the study of how our bodies regulate time. Research from Harvard Medical School has revealed that eye color strongly influences circadian rhythm regulation and sensitivity to seasonal light changes. Blue-eyed individuals demonstrate more pronounced responses to seasonal light variations, experiencing greater shifts in sleep patterns, energy levels, and mood corresponding to seasonal changes. Brown-eyed individuals, conversely, maintain more consistent circadian patterns regardless of seasonal light fluctuations. This chronobiological difference would have provided complementary advantages in group settings, explains Xavier Reynolds. Blue-eyed individuals would serve as sensitive biological barometers of seasonal change, while brown-eyed individuals would maintain consistent energy levels regardless of season. Together, these traits would enhance group adaptability and survival. Researchers at MIT have made another groundbreaking discovery related to iris structure and brain development. They've identified specific neural pathways connecting iris development to the formation of certain brain structures, particularly those involving spatial processing and emotional regulation. This research has revealed that green-eyed individuals typically possess enhanced neural connections between the visual cortex and the amygdala, facilitating more rapid processing of emotionally relevant visual information. This connection provides advantages in quickly identifying potential threats or social opportunities based on subtle visual cues. Another cutting-edge area of research involves environmental adaptation speed. Scientists at Stanford University have discovered that eye color correlates with epigenetic flexibility, the ability to activate or deactivate genes in response to environmental changes. Brown-eyed individuals show greater epigenetic flexibility in response to nutritional changes, explains Dr. Owens, while blue-eyed individuals demonstrate enhanced epigenetic responses to temperature variations. These differences allow human populations to collectively adapt more quickly to environmental challenges through complementary adaptive mechanisms. Perhaps the most surprising recent discovery comes from the field of neuroacoustics, which studies how the brain processes sound. Researchers have identified an unexpected connection between eye color and auditory processing, with different eye colors correlating with enhanced ability to detect specific sound frequencies. Blue-eyed individuals typically demonstrate enhanced sensitivity to higher frequencies, while brown-eyed individuals show advantages in detecting lower frequencies and subtle rhythmic patterns. This complementary hearing specialization would provide group advantages in detecting a wider range of potential threats or opportunities in the environment. Research at the University of Toronto has uncovered another fascinating connection. Eye color influences olfactory processing. Green and hazel-eyed individuals demonstrate statistically significant advantages in detecting and discriminating between similar scents, providing advantages in identifying subtle environmental cues from spoiled food, predators, or medicinal plants. When we combine all these recent discoveries, says Xavier Reynolds, we see that eye color represents far more than just a cosmetic difference. It's a complex adaptive system that influences everything from immune function to sensory processing to environmental adaptation. The persistence of eye color diversity isn't accidental. It provides profound population-level advantages by ensuring different specialized adaptations within human groups. These discoveries are transforming how we understand human diversity, revealing the profound adaptive advantages of maintaining varied traits within populations. But they also raise important questions about the future of eye color in our rapidly changing world. As we look toward the future, several factors are likely to influence the continuing evolution and distribution of human eye colors. Climate change represents perhaps the most significant environmental factor affecting future eye color distribution. As UV radiation patterns shift globally and humans increasingly migrate across climate zones, the selective pressures that originally shaped eye color distribution will continue to evolve. We're already seeing shifts in the selective advantages of different eye colors, explains Dr. Diana Owens. With increased indoor living, artificial lighting, and UV blocking technologies, many of the original environmental pressures that shaped eye color evolution have been modified or eliminated. Medical advances are also changing the selective landscape. Treatments for conditions that once disproportionately affected certain eye colors, such as macular degeneration in blue-eyed individuals, are reducing these disadvantages. Meanwhile, increasing global mobility is accelerating genetic mixing between populations with historically different eye color distributions. Xavier Reynolds offers a prediction. We're likely to see continued diversification of eye colors within populations, rather than convergence toward a single dominant color. The complex advantages offered by different eye colors ensure that maintaining this diversity remains beneficial at the population level. Genetic technology raises even more intriguing possibilities. As gene editing technologies advance, the potential for intentional modification of eye color becomes increasingly feasible. This raises profound ethical questions about the boundary between addressing medical concerns and pursuing cosmetic enhancements. The same genetic pathways that determine eye color influence many other aspects of human biology, cautions Dr. Owens. Attempting to modify eye color without fully understanding these connections could have unintended consequences for immune function, neurological development, and sensory processing. Climate scientists predict that changing UV radiation patterns may create new selective pressures favoring increased melanin production in regions previously dominated by light eye colors. Simultaneously, increasing urbanization and indoor living may reduce the selective advantages of melanin-rich eyes in regions near the equator. One concerning possibility is the reduction of eye color diversity through cultural preferences and selection. In some societies, certain eye colors are considered more desirable, potentially influencing mate selection and narrowing genetic diversity. Maintaining awareness of the biological advantages of eye color diversity may be crucial for preserving this important aspect of human adaptation. What we're learning about the complex advantages of different eye colors should make us cautious about viewing any eye color as better than others, says Xavier Reynolds. Each represents a specialized adaptation with unique advantages. Human populations benefit from maintaining this diversity, just as ecosystems benefit from biodiversity. Perhaps the most profound insight from eye color research is how it demonstrates the elegant complexity of human adaptation. What appears at first glance to be a simple aesthetic feature reveals itself, upon closer examination, to be an intricate system balancing multiple biological needs, from UV protection to vitamin D absorption to specialized visual processing. As we conclude our exploration of eye color, let us return to where we began, that moment of connection when eyes meet across a crowded room. What we now understand is that this moment contains far more information than we consciously realize. The iris, that colored portion of the eye that has captivated poets, artists, and lovers throughout human history, speaks a biological language rooted in tens of thousands of years of human adaptation and survival. It tells a story of where our ancestors lived, what challenges they faced, and how they specialize to overcome them. Brown eyes speak of equatorial origins, of protection from harsh sunlight, of enhanced reaction speeds and pain resilience. Blue eyes tell of northern adaptations, of maximizing scarce winter light, of strategic thinking and analytical processing. Green eyes reveal balanced adaptations, enhanced peripheral awareness, and remarkable pain modulation abilities. Hazel eyes demonstrate environmental sensitivity and adaptive flexibility across varied conditions. Amber and violet eyes showcase specialized adaptations for specific challenging environments. Together, these variations create not just beautiful diversity, but functional complementarity within human populations. The differences in how we process visual information, regulate our immune systems, maintain our circadian rhythms, and even perceive the world around us create collective advantages far greater than any single adaptation could provide. The most beautiful aspect of eye color diversity isn't the rainbow of colors itself, reflects Dr. Diana Owens, but what that diversity represents, nature's elegant solution to the challenge of human survival across radically different environments and conditions. Each eye color is a specialized instrument in humanity's adaptive symphony. Xavier Reynolds adds a final thought. When we look into someone's eyes, we're not just seeing windows to their soul, as poets have claimed. We're seeing windows into our shared evolutionary history, a living record of human migration, adaptation, and survival against tremendous odds. The next time you look into a mirror, take a moment to truly see your own eyes. Their color is not accident or mere aesthetics. It is nature's sophisticated technology, a complex adaptation honed across generations to help you perceive the world in specialized ways. Your eye color is both your inheritance from countless ancestors and your gift to future generations, carrying within it subtle advantages that have helped humanity thrive in every environment on Earth. In a single glance between strangers, across a crowded marketplace or across millennia of human evolution, the iris reveals that our differences are not merely superficial. They are the very foundation of our collective success as a species.